You know, there's something I've been thinking about lately, and I wonder if it's crossed your mind too. As we get older, we start to think more about the legacy we'll leave behind, not just the memories, but the tangible things we've worked so hard for over the years. Our homes, our savings, the little treasures we've collected along the way. These things aren't just possessions, they're a part of our story, a way to take care of our loved ones even when we're no longer here. But here's the thing. Have you ever stopped to think about what could happen to all of that if you don't plan ahead? It's not something we like to dwell on, but the truth is, without the right steps in place, your hard-earned assets could end up in the wrong hands. I'm talking about something called inheritance theft. It's a term that might sound dramatic, but it's a real issue that can tear families apart and leave your loved ones with nothing. That's why today I want to talk about how you can protect your family's future. We'll go over 5 practical tips to ensure your legacy stays intact and goes exactly where you want it to. These aren't complicated legal maneuvers or expensive strategies, just simple, actionable steps that anyone can take. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is get your legal documents in order. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Legal documents. That sounds overwhelming. But trust me, it's not as daunting as it seems. The most important document you'll need is a will. A will is like a roadmap for your loved ones. It tells them exactly how you want your assets distributed after you're gone. Without one, the courts will decide what happens to your estate, and that can lead to all sorts of complications and disagreements. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, let's call her Margaret, thought she didn't need a will because she only had one child. She assumed everything would automatically go to her daughter, but when Margaret passed away, her daughter discovered that Margaret's brother had a legal claim to part of the estate. It turned into a long, messy court battle that could have been avoided with a simple will. So, how do you get started? The easiest way is to consult an estate planning attorney. They'll help you draft a will that reflects your wishes and ensures everything is legally sound. If cost is a concern, there are also online services that can guide you through the process at a fraction of the price. The key is to just get it done. It's one of the most important gifts you can give your family. Now, let's talk about the second tip. Keep your beneficiaries updated. This is something a lot of people overlook, but it's just as important as having a will. You see, certain assets like life insurance policies, retirement accounts, and bank accounts don't pass through your will. Instead, they go directly to the person you've named as the beneficiary. Here's where things can get tricky. Let's say you opened a life insurance policy years ago and named your spouse as the beneficiary. But what if your spouse has since passed away and you never updated the policy? Or what if you've remarried and want your new spouse to be the beneficiary? If you don't update those documents, the money could end up going to someone you didn't intend. Or even worse, it could get tied up in legal limbo. The solution is simple. Take some time to review all of your accounts and policies. Make sure the beneficiaries listed are still the people you want to receive those assets. If they're not, contact the company or financial institution and update the information. It's a small step, but it can make a world of difference for your loved ones. Now that we've covered these first 2 steps, getting your legal documents in order and updating your beneficiaries, let's move on to the next tip. This one is all about communication, and it's something that can truly make or break your family's future. But I'll save that for the next part of our conversation. For now, take a moment to think about your will and your beneficiaries. Are they up to date? If not, make that your first priority. Remember, this isn't just about protecting your assets, it's about protecting your family. And that's something worth taking the time to do right. Now that we've talked about getting your legal documents in order and keeping your beneficiaries updated, let's move on to something equally important: having open and honest conversations with your family. I know this one might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's absolutely essential. Here's why. When it comes to inheritance, misunderstandings and assumptions can lead to big problems down the road. Maybe you've always assumed your children know exactly what you want to leave them, or perhaps you've avoided the topic altogether because it feels too personal or even morbid. But the truth is, keeping your family in the dark can create confusion, hurt feelings, and even conflict after you're gone. Let me share a story to illustrate this. A gentleman I know, let's call him Tom, had 3 children. He always assumed they understood his wishes. He wanted his estate divided equally among them. But Tom never actually sat down and talked to them about it. When he passed away, one of his children found an old letter in his desk that mentioned a specific piece of jewelry going to a particular grandchild. That led to a lot of questions and tension among the siblings. Was that letter his final wish? Did he change his mind later? No one knew for sure, and it caused a rift in the family that took years to heal. The lesson here is simple. Don't leave things to chance. Sit down with your loved ones and have a candid conversation about your plans. Let them know what's in your will, why you've made certain decisions, and what you hope for their future. This isn't just about money or possessions, it's about giving them peace of mind and making sure everyone is on the same page. And here's a pro tip. If you're worried about how they might react, consider involving a neutral third party, like an estate planning attorney or a financial advisor. They can help facilitate the conversation and answer any questions your family might have. The goal is to make this a positive, constructive discussion, one that brings your family closer together instead of driving them apart. Now let's move on to the fourth tip. Protect your assets from potential scams and fraud. Unfortunately, as we get older, we become more vulnerable to financial exploitation. Whether it's a dishonest caregiver, a predatory financial advisor, or even a family member with questionable intentions, there are people out there who might try to take advantage of you. I'll never forget the story of a woman named Evelyn. She was in her late 70s and living alone when a smooth-talking contractor showed up at her door, offering to repair her roof at a discounted rate. Evelyn trusted him and paid a large sum up front, but he never did the work. By the time her family found out, the money was gone, and there was little they could do to recover it. Stories like this are heartbreaking, but they're also preventable. The key is to stay vigilant and take steps to protect yourself. For example, never sign any documents or make large financial decisions without consulting someone you trust, like a family member or attorney. Be wary of unsolicited offers or high-pressure sales tactics, and if something feels off, don't be afraid to say no, or walk away. Another way to safeguard your assets is to set up safeguards like a trust. A trust is a legal arrangement that allows you to transfer your assets to a trustee who manages them on behalf of your beneficiaries. This can be a great way to protect your estate from fraud, as well as from probate court and unnecessary taxes. There are different types of trusts, so it's worth talking to an estate planning professional to see which one might be right for you. Finally, let's talk about the fifth tip: plan for the unexpected. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them, and the best way to protect your family's future is to be prepared for anything. This means thinking about things like long-term care, medical expenses, and even the possibility of outliving your savings. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming they'll never need long-term care. But the reality is, about 70% of seniors will require some form of long-term care in their lifetime, and it can be incredibly expensive. Without a plan in place, the cost of care could quickly deplete your savings, leaving little or nothing for your loved ones. That's why it's so important to explore your options early. Long-term care insurance, for example, can help cover the cost of nursing homes, assisted living, or in-home care. You might also consider setting aside a portion of your savings specifically for medical expenses or creating a healthcare directive that outlines your wishes in case you're unable to make decisions for yourself. The bottom line is this: planning for the unexpected isn't about being pessimistic, it's about being proactive. By taking these steps now, you're not just protecting your assets, you're giving your family the gift of security and peace of mind. So to recap, we've covered 5 key tips so far: getting your legal documents in order, updating your beneficiaries, having open conversations with your family, protecting your assets from scams, and planning for the unexpected. These are all essential steps to safeguarding your legacy and ensuring your loved ones are taken care of. In the next part of our conversation, we'll dive deeper into some additional strategies you can use to protect your family's future. We'll talk about how to involve your loved ones in the planning process, how to choose the right professionals to guide you, and how to make sure your wishes are carried out exactly as you intend. For now, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed so far. Are there any steps you haven't taken yet? If so, make a plan to address them as soon as possible. Remember, this isn't just about protecting your assets, it's about protecting the people you love most. And that's something worth investing your time and energy into. As we continue this important conversation, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered so far. We've talked about the importance of getting your legal documents in order, updating your beneficiaries, having open and honest conversations with your family, protecting your assets from scams, and planning for the unexpected. These are all crucial steps to ensuring your legacy is protected and your loved ones are taken care of. Now let's dive into the final points that will help you tie everything together and create a comprehensive plan for your family's future. The sixth tip is to involve your loved ones in the planning process. This might sound similar to having open conversations, but it goes a step further. It's not just about telling your family what your plans are, it's about actively involving them in the decision-making process. This can help prevent misunderstandings and ensure everyone is on the same page. For example, if you've decided to leave a specific asset to one child because they've expressed a strong emotional attachment to it, let the others know why you've made that decision. Transparency can go a long way in preventing hurt feelings or disputes later on. You might even consider holding a family meeting where everyone can ask questions and share their thoughts. This can be a great opportunity to explain your wishes, discuss your values, and reinforce the importance of unity and respect within the family. Another way to involve your loved ones is to designate roles and responsibilities. For instance, you might choose one child to be the executor of your estate or another to handle your healthcare decisions if you're unable to do so. Make sure these roles are clearly defined and that everyone understands their responsibilities. This not only helps streamline the process, but also gives your family a sense of purpose and direction during what can be a difficult time. Now let's move on to the seventh tip. Choose the right professionals to guide you. Estate planning can be complex, and having the right team in place can make all the difference. This might include an estate planning attorney, a financial advisor, a tax professional, and even a geriatric care manager if you're planning for long-term care. When selecting these professionals, it's important to do your homework. Look for someone with experience working with seniors and a deep understanding of the issues that matter most to you. Don't be afraid to ask for references or read reviews to ensure you're making the right choice. And remember, this is your legacy we're talking about, so don't settle for anything less than the best. One of the most important professionals you'll work with is your estate planning attorney. They'll help you draft your will, set up trusts, and navigate the legal complexities of estate planning. But don't stop there. A financial advisor can help you create a comprehensive plan that aligns with your goals, while a tax professional can ensure you're taking advantage of any tax-saving opportunities. The key is to build a team that works together seamlessly and has your best interests at heart. This might require some upfront effort, but it's an investment that will pay off in the long run. Finally, let's talk about the eighth and final tip: review and update your plan regularly. Life is constantly changing, and your estate plan should reflect those changes. Maybe you've welcomed a new grandchild, experienced a significant financial shift, or moved to a new state with different laws. Whatever the case, it's important to revisit your plan periodically to ensure it still aligns with your wishes and circumstances. A good rule of thumb is to review your estate plan every 3 to 5 years, or whenever you experience a major life event. This might involve updating your will, adjusting your beneficiaries, or revisiting your long-term care strategy. The goal is to keep your plan as current and effective as possible. And don't forget to communicate any changes to your family and your professional team. This ensures everyone is on the same page and reduces the risk of confusion or disputes down the road. So there you have it, 8 practical tips to protect your family's future and avoid inheritance theft. From getting your legal documents in order to involving your loved ones in the planning process, these steps are designed to give you peace of mind and ensure your legacy is preserved exactly as you intend. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Planning for the future isn't just about protecting your assets, it's about protecting your family. It's about giving them the security and stability they need to thrive, even when you're no longer here. And that's one of the most meaningful gifts you can give. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you started planning for your family's future? What steps have you taken so far? Your experiences and insights could be incredibly valuable to others in our community. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and advice on living your best life at any age. Remember, it's never too early or too late to start planning for the future. Thank you so much for watching, and here's to protecting what matters most.